Okay, and moving on to level 2. The first exercise at level 2, as it was with level 1, is the trusty push-up. The only difference with the push-up at level 2 is that we've lowered the straps down and they've now been set up at roughly hip height instead of waist height. And just by dropping that down about 3 or 4 inches, this means that the body will be in a flatter position at the bottom of the push-up, make it more difficult because essentially you'll be lifting more of your body weight here at level 2. So we get Bianca again to take the position, arms extended out in front and lower herself down into the push-up position. Again, nice stiff straight body and then back up to the start position. Perfect, nice slow controlled movement speed, and we'll do one more. Down we go and pressing back up into the start position, and that's the push-up at level 2. Exercise 2 at level 2 is a slightly different variation on the body pull-up. Now we set Bianca up again, so the straps when she's in a standing position are at about waist height. She takes a hold of the straps and then leans back, straightens the arms and lowers the body down. Again, maintaining that full body stiffness and then pulling up. Elbows track close to the side of the body, and then she lowers herself down until the arms are fully extended, and then back to the top position and slowly down again, and then slowly up. Again, this is really important, this full body stiffness, no sag and no drawing the hips towards the sky too quickly. Up she comes, elbows tracking close to the side of the body, and then down again. With all of these exercises where we're looking for repetitions or we're looking for movement, we're striving for between 12 and 15 repetitions for each set that you do, or until you feel that fatigue or tremor. Exercise 3 at level 2 is a variation on the squat called a lunge squat. We set these straps up so as they're just a slightly lower than shoulder height, about chest height. Okay, Bianca's taken what we call a split stance here. She's going to lower herself down into a lunge squat. So down we go, drops down till the back knee almost touches the ground, and then comes up again to a full stance. Dropping down again, the front leg bends to about 90 degrees, and then Bianca comes up to stance. Again, most of the work is done with the legs. The arms are really just there to support you and to help you with the balance. And that's the lunge squat at level 2. Exercise 4 at level 2 is again an abdominal exercise and very similar to the abdominal exercise at level 1. The only difference here is that we've set Bianca up with these anchor straps at the ankles rather than just below the knee. Again, we've asked Bianca to rise up and create a nice straight line and hold this position for 1 to 2 minutes, or again until you start to see some tremor or feel some weakness in the position. Okay, we don't want the hips too high, and we certainly don't want any sag which creates lordosis in the lower back. So that's the abdominal exercise at level 2. So the final exercise at level 2 is again for the lower back. We've set Bianca up in the same position as we had her for the lower back exercise in level 1, only this time we're going to create movement rather than just a holding position with the exercise for the lower back. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Bianca to rise up until she's at that straight position, and then lower down very slowly until she almost touches the ground. A little bit lower for us, Bianca, and then lift again up to the straight position, nice and slowly back down till you almost touch the ground, and then lift and hold for a second, and then lower down. Nice and slow, lots of control. As you come back up to the top position, we want you to hold that straight position for a brief moment before you lower back down. Remember, just hovering over the ground, don't touch the hips down on the ground in between repetitions, and that's the final exercise at level 2. Broadly speaking, suspension training is a mixture of both movement exercises and holding positions. Now, we've demonstrated some exercises as part of the Target Health BSS training system that are a mixture, of course, of both of those types of movements, or one of them being a movement and the other being a hold. Now, there's a few important things to note in terms of both the movements and the holding positions. In a holding position, you want to make sure that you're doing just that, holding, rock solid, rock steady. In the BSS training system, we encourage you to try and strive until you can hold a position for 2 minutes. Once you can hold that position for 2 minutes and repeat that 3 times with about a 1.5 minute break in between, then you'll be ready to move on to the next level of the exercise sequence. Now, as far as the movement exercises are concerned, we want to strive until you can perform slow, controlled, repetitious movements for a set of between 12 and 15. Now, once you can complete 12 to 15 repetitions 3 times with a 1.5 minute break in between each one, then you'll be ready to move on to the next level. Now, as far as putting a workout together for a given week is concerned, Generally speaking, we would advise that you train 3 times a week with resistance training or suspension training. Now remember, never train on consecutive days. Try to rest well and eat well in between your exercise sessions, and that way you'll get the most out of your training program. Well, I wish you all the best with the suspension training program that you're about to embark on. Jump right in, go and grab yourself a set of the BSS and get started today.